Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back, and busy day, lots to talk about. And we are joined right now by a gentleman we had on last week for the first time, Christopher Hahn. He's certainly to the left of me, and you see him all over. You see him on Fox especially. And welcome back, Christopher. How are you?
Great. How are you?
I'm okay. All right. Where to start is my only question. And why don't we address what happened yesterday quickly with Christie and his announcement that Frank Lautenberg would have wanted an elected official to represent him and to take his place in the Senate, and therefore he's going to hold an election, in October of this year instead of appointing a Republican to sit for the next year and a half. I mean, that's an obvious strategy that he feels will benefit him. And, to me, he's just further alienating himself with the National Republican Party and the people who vote in primaries.
Well, the only people who are happy with him right now are the Democrats in the U.S. Senate, who feel they have a pretty good chance of keeping that seat. He didn't want to put in a Republican who might vote with the president sometimes. Look, New Jersey has a lot of moderate Republicans in it. And Christie knows that if he would have put in a Republican from New Jersey, chances are, on some issues like immigration, what have you, they may have voted with the president, and that might have hurt him in a primary next year, in 2016. So, he did what he thought was right, and he put a primary together and then a general election. But, look, he's spending an extra $24 million by not having that election on Election Day. I thought it was kind of a little outside of the Christie model. Look, I like Christie, even as a Democrat. But, I think what he's doing here, we're having this election 3 weeks before the general, is a little ridiculous, and a waste of money.
I couldn't agree with you more. And by the way, you could have him, and that's as a Republican, I'm saying, and he's my governor. You could have him. But the reason he's doing that, apparently, is so that Cory Booker wouldn't be on the ticket, same ticket on Election Day when he's on a ticket. And, and there'll probably be an outpouring of support for Cory Booker, and it'll revitalize the Democrats in the state. And, I don't think that Christie would lose, but he certainly wouldn't win by the margin that he's going to win by and be able to wave around to say, hey, now I could be president.
Exactly. He wants a 6 as the first number, not a 5 in his election victory this year. And if the Democrats are energized to come out for Cory Booker, the chances of him getting 60% are pretty much gone. He'd still get 56%, though. And I think, quite frankly, as a Republican in New Jersey, that's very impressive. And I don't understand the calculation here. Look, he's done it. That's what it is. We'll live with it. As a Democrat who's more affiliated with Democrats in the Senate, I'm happy that we're going to get a Democrat to hold that seat. But look, I find it very funny that these fiscal conservatives, when their own political future is on the line, there's always plenty of money to throw around and waste if it takes them, if it's political expediently, if it's expedient for them.
No, yeah, good. That's a great point. Plus, a year prior, he signed legislation which put an end, or helped put an end to, or certainly give localities the option to end these special elections and these multiple elections because it was getting too costly. And here's a guy, by the way, that told me on the air in what I think was our last interview back when I was at WOR, that the reason New Jersey wasn't signing on to the health care lawsuit against Obamacare was that it was too expensive and New Jersey couldn't afford it, but they'll reap the benefits. And then I had the Attorney General of Texas on, who was spearheading that lawsuit subsequently, and I said, how much would it cost for a state to sign on? He said, a few thousand, a minuscule token amount. So Christie was not honest then, he's not honest now, and that's why you could have him.
Well, I do like him, generally speaking, but, as far as Republicans go, I do think that he tries to do the right thing in New Jersey. I don't always agree with him, but I respect his honesty. But this is the one real case of him showing a real, I don't like this whole situation, and I think it's a match of political expedience. And look, he's done what he's done, and we'll live with it. And Cory Booker or Pallone or somebody like that will be the Democratic nominee, and I think they'll easily win. Republicans don't have a bench. He could have put in somebody like a Bill Baroni, who's done a pretty good job at the Port Authority as an interim senator, and given that guy a chance to actually be competitive in November. But again, then he's got to deal with Bill. He's got to live with Bill Baroni's voting record in the Senate, and I don't know if he wants to do that.
All right. There's a news report just out a few minutes ago from ABC News that bipartisan meetings in the House of Representatives on the immigration bill have collapsed. We had Marco Rubio today saying that in its present form, he wouldn't vote for the Gang of Eight bill, which he is a member of, in the Senate. Where do you think? Well, first of all, and I applaud all this. I think this is great news. I know you probably don't. But where do you think immigration reform is headed?
I think Marco Rubio is doing a head fake, quite frankly. I think he's trying to say he doesn't like it. He doesn't like the bill right now, knowing that the bill is going to be amended. And the bill will be amended. It won't be dramatically amended, but it will be amended to some extent. And then Marco Rubio will say, look, we amended the bill. We made some changes. I fought for some changes. Now Republicans need to support it. And I think that's the only way it gets passed. Sometimes these guys have got to say they don't like something, change it just a little bit so that the base can rally around those changes and the bill could actually pass. Marco Rubio desperately wants to see immigration reform pass because Marco Rubio knows that the Republican Party has no chance of being a national party again if they continue down this road of bashing Latinos and bashing immigrants who are making up a bigger and bigger portion of the electorate, especially in swing states.
And I couldn't disagree with you more. I think we might have touched on this when you were here last week. I don't remember, but on a national level, state by state, since Obama became president, the Republican Party's doing just fine. They've picked up Senate seats, House seats, governorships, and they control most of those state houses around the nation. So their policies on a local level or state level are doing fine. On a national level, Hispanics' primary concern is not immigration reform and making illegals who broke the law legal. It's
and that's not what this bill does.
It's jobs. It's jobs, and it's jobs. It's family values. It's education. It's actually conservative values. So what the Republicans will do if they pass this immigration reform, listen, to some extent, whatever they pass, say they acquiesce and they give here, they give there, but like you said, Rubio gets some stuff taken out. So guess what? So then the Democrats will go to the microphone and say, hey, you know why your brother and sister can't join you from Mexico? Or you know why your gay lover or gay partner can't join you from Mexico? The evil Republicans. And they're the bad guys again.
It seemed to work in the last election when Latinos overwhelmingly supported President Obama.
Not for immigration reform. It was not for immigration reform.
Well, why did they support him? They supported him because of Mitt Romney's far-right stand to the right of Rick Perry on immigration reform in the debates. He was done. At that debate where he called Rick Perry out, it was the end of his ability to get any Latino voters. And he should have been appealing to them. I mean, look, his grandfather was Mexican. He should have been appealing to them.
He should have been appealing to them on specific issues by going after the president on specific issues, which he did not do well enough. That would have resonated not only with Hispanics, who are no different than the rest of us, who care about education, jobs, and family values, as I said, and are more in line with social values with conservatives than with liberals.
Here's the thing, though, Steve. Ever since the first boat saw the second boat coming over the horizon, immigration's been a problem in this country that needs to be addressed. There's an attempt to address it here. Marco Rubio is part of that attempt, and I believe a big part of that attempt, regardless of what he says right now. And I do believe that he will be a key player in getting this passed. And I do believe this will pass at least the Senate this year, and then the House Republicans are going to have a big burden to carry if they kill it. Look out if you're a Republican in a district that has a large Latino population. Good luck, because we're going to come after you, and you're going to lose.
I love everyone from Debbie Wasserman Schultz to Chuck Schumer to Christopher Hahn, who we're speaking with right now, is so concerned about the future of the Republican Party, giving nothing but warnings and free advice to how the Republicans could become a national party again. Doesn't that seem a little odd?
Steve, I want the Republican Party to be an issues-based party again. I am tired of the Republican Party being no, we don't want to do that party, and let's investigate this scandal or that scandal. Let me get an issue going from these guys. And let me tell you something. Marco Rubio, I don't like everything he says, but at least he's trying here on an issue, on a policy. We don't see that a lot from National Republicans right now. That's the difference between Christie and the National Republicans. Christie at least has some policy going on.
I don't know what issue you're talking about. The Republican-led House has passed job bill after job bill after job bill, and budgets, which have never been brought up or addressed in the Democratic Senate.
I worked in the Senate, Steve. I worked on budgets when the Congress used to pass budgets. The House of Representatives has not marked up a real budget since the Republicans took over. The House of Representatives, what they've done is they passed budget outlines. They have not passed real budgets. And I got to tell you, and that's the biggest false thing. I think Democrats are wrong for not calling them out on it. They got to
really wait, Christopher. When did the Senate pass a budget in the last 4 years? What are you talking about? Call them out on it.
They haven't, and that's the problem on them, too. But,
I'm glad you thought of that. I'm glad you brought that up.
The Republicans have not passed the budget. So the Republicans just say they've passed the budget. That is just not true. They passed budget outlines.
They've passed jobs bills. They even passed a bill on making sure that the interest rate on student loans doesn't double. But the president ignored that fact when he gave his little presidential campaign show the other day.
I don't believe that.
What do you mean you don't believe it? They absolutely did.
Look, the Republicans have an opportunity to fix this student loan issue going forward. They don't want to take it. They want to shut down the government over everything. Let's see them do some real policy. They think the president's on the ropes right now. You know, they're going to give him a chance to get off the ropes with this student loan thing, and they're going to give him a chance to get off the ropes. They passed in the House a bill.
They passed a bill in the House that freezes the rate, does not double the rate. The president acknowledged that the Congress has taken action. He just called it the wrong action.
Didn't they tie it to Obamacare's repeal? Come on, Steve.
The president wants every. All right, here now. Let me ask you about this.
They're tying it to the repeal of Obamacare.
Well, that's what the nation. That's what the nation wants. Poll after poll shows it.
If the nation wanted that, they would have voted this president and this Senate out.
Really? Oh, so
the nation sent them back.
Really? So so let me get this straight. So the election was about Obamacare.
Absolutely. Every commercial the Republicans ran with it was about Obamacare. Every single one of them.
Really?
The one person you had to defeat to get rid of Obamacare was President Obama, because the Democrats in Congress would have ran for cover if you did, and they didn't do it. So Obama's still president. Obamacare's the law, and by the time he's no longer president, it's going to be as popular as Medicare and Social Security.
Yeah, Christopher, it'll be very popular. Just don't get sick. Don't need a doctor. Don't need a specialist. And by the way, Kathleen Sebelius, I want you to listen to an exchange between Kathleen Sebelius and Congressman Lou Barletta of Pennsylvania. The little girl who is sick, the 10-year-old girl who needs a lung transplant, is in his district. And here's his exchange with Kathleen Sebelius yesterday. Part of it. This is cut 51.
Dad.
And you are the one person who has the authority to suspend the current policy until we are confident that children have equal access to life-saving treatment and aren't discriminated against because of their age. We wouldn't do it for any other reason. I'm begging you. Sarah has 3 to 5 weeks to live. Time is running out. Please, suspend the rules until we look at this policy, which we all believe is flawed.
Well, I would suggest, sir, that, again, this is a incredibly agonizing situation where someone lives and someone dies.
Someone lives and someone dies. That's what this is your inkling to the death panels, my friend. This woman has it within her power to save this girl's life, and she says, well, you know, it's tough, but someone's going to live and someone's going to die. So get ready for your health care, your Obamacare, Chris, because this is what it is.
Yeah, and this kid is living under the current situation, which is not Obamacare, and they are not talking about a government-run program. They're talking about her private insurance and the private system.
No. They're talking about the government, a signature by her, by Sebelius, would waive the rules, so she can save her.
We're not talking about Obamacare rules, are we? We're talking about private medical insurance rules.
Not insurance rules. It's the rules of organ donorship. It's not private insurance rules. It's organ donorship.
Maybe Obamacare does not affect.
No, but this woman is running Obamacare, and this is how she feels for little children and sick people. Somebody's going to live. Somebody's going to die. Hey.
You're putting that into Obamacare when it has nothing to do with it. We should reform it if that's the case.
I'm talking to you about the fact that this is the attitude going forward. Someone will live, someone will die. This is the woman who's going to make those decisions going forward under Obamacare, and she's cold as ice.
And, Steve, I know you've got lots of listeners in California who right now are looking at their insurance bills and are saying, wow, next year my insurance is going down 25% thanks to Obamacare.
What? Where are you getting that from? Insurance in California for personal policies is going to double. It's going to double.
going down 25%.
You know what, Chris? I respect you, but I don't know where you're getting that from.
These are the recent estimates from the California Insurance Board.
Absolutely not.
For the exchanges for next year. 25%.
Oh, the exchanges. But if you have a personal policy outside the exchanges, it's going to almost triple your policies. $20,000 for a family. $20,000, Chris.
The exchanges are private insurance, Steve. They're private insurance.
Well, then you're absolutely wrong, and let's debate this next week.
We will.
Because this is a disaster waiting to happen on every level. Hey, Chris.
We will both read up on the California exchanges, and we'll have a nice conversation.
You got it. You got it. Hey, listen, I appreciate talking to you, Chris.
Anytime, Steve. It's always a blast.
Take care. Christopher Hahn.